You're sitting perfectly still, minding your own business, when suddenly you feel it. A heavy, unblinking gaze burning into the side of your face. You slowly turn your head, only to find your cat staring at you with the intensity of a wild predator locking onto its prey. It's a chillingly common scenario that leaves every cat owner asking the exact same question. What on earth are they looking at? Most people brush it off, joking that their feline friend is simply plotting their demise or staring at a ghost hovering right behind their shoulder. But the truth buried deep inside their predatory DNA is actually far more bizarre. That piercing, motionless gaze isn't a glitch in their feline programming, nor is it just a silent demand for dinner. It is a highly complex, secret method of communication that has baffled behaviorists for decades. In fact, your cat's eyes are trying to tell you something incredibly specific in that very moment. Is it a profound display of affection, a subtle warning of environmental danger, or something entirely unexpected? Stick around, because once you discover the startling biological reason behind this eerie behavior, you will never look at your cat the same way again. To truly understand what is happening when your cat freezes and locks eyes with you from across the living room, we have to travel back in time, long before they were lounging on heated blankets and eating out of crystal bowls. We have to look at the unforgiving landscape of the wild, where the ancestors of our modern house cats relied on one specific highly evolved weapon to survive: their vision. Feline eyes are not just exceptionally beautiful features meant to melt our hearts. They are biological masterpieces engineered for high-stakes observation and survival. Notice how remarkably large they are in proportion to their skull. If humans had eyes with the exact same face-to-eye ratio as a domestic cat, our eyes would be roughly the size of large oranges. This massive optical real estate allows an astonishing amount of light to hit their retinas, feeding their brain a continuous, hyper-detailed stream of environmental data. But here is where the mystery begins to deepen, because when your cat is staring at you, they aren't just looking at your face. They are actively processing microscopic shifts in your breathing, your heart rate, and your body language that you aren't even consciously aware you are making. Have you ever caught your cat staring at you while you were deep in thought, almost as if they were reading your mind from the shadows? If you have, take a second to drop a quick comment down below about the weirdest place your cat has ever stared you down from, because as we are about to explore, the location and timing of that unbroken gaze are crucial puzzle pieces to this behavioral mystery. You see, in the wild, an unwavering stare is universally recognized as a precursor to aggression. It is the ultimate challenge. Two predators locking eyes in the brush are engaged in a silent, high-stakes war of dominance, calculating the exact millisecond to strike or retreat. Yet your perfectly safe, pampered indoor cat will willingly initiate this intense visual standoff with you, a creature 10 times their size. Why would a biologically cautious animal intentionally risk provoking a giant? The answer lies in a fascinating psychological shift that occurred over thousands of years of domestication, fundamentally altering how cats perceive the towering humans they live with. Unlike dogs, who adapted to see us as a completely different species functioning as their pack leaders, cats view humans through a much more peculiar lens. To your cat, you are essentially a remarkably clumsy, overgrown feline who somehow controls the territory and the food supply. Therefore, their prolonged stare is their way of bridging the immense evolutionary gap between our species, utilizing the exact same visual intensity they would use in the wild, but repurposing it for an entirely different kind of connection. If you find yourself constantly captivated by these hidden layers of feline psychology, consider joining our community and subscribing to the channel, because decoding these tiny, everyday behaviors reveals a world far more complex than we ever imagined. Before we can decode the exact meaning behind your cat's specific stare, because a blinkless gaze from the top of the refrigerator means something entirely different than a soft, squinting stare from the edge of the couch. We must first uncover a hidden mechanism operating inside their eyes at that very moment. It is a biological capability so advanced that it literally allows them to see a version of reality that is completely invisible to human beings. When they sit there, unmoving, with their pupils slowly adjusting to the light, they are gathering a mountain of unseen data about your emotional state, your physical health, and even the invisible shifts happening in your shared environment. What they are actually witnessing in those quiet, eerie moments of unbroken eye contact involves a complex interplay of light detection and emotional mirroring that scientists have only recently begun to fully understand. And the way your cat processes this invisible information is about to completely rewrite everything you thought you knew about your furry best friend. Imagine you are sitting quietly on your sofa, perhaps scrolling through your phone or reading a book. When you suddenly feel that heavy, unmistakable weight of being watched, you look up and there is your cat, completely frozen, their eyes locked onto yours like two unblinking laser pointers from across the dimly lit room. In this exact second, their extraordinary visual apparatus is working in overdrive, processing that invisible reality we just uncovered. While our human eyes are limited to the standard visible spectrum of light, your cat is utilizing their unique ability to perceive subtle ultraviolet wavelengths and microscopic movements. The room they are sitting in looks radically different from the one you see. They are watching the subtle, almost imperceptible traces of the environment shifting around you, but more importantly, they are heavily scrutinizing the microscopic fluctuations in your own body. As their unbroken gaze pierces through the distance between you, they are actually tracking the tiny involuntary micro-expressions rippling across your face. Expressions so fleeting that even you don't realize you are making them. But this intense, almost telepathic stare goes far deeper than just watching your facial muscles twitch. Have you ever wondered why their gaze sometimes feels like it is looking right through your soul? It is because they are visually processing the physical manifestations of your internal emotional state. When you feel stressed, anxious, or even quietly content, your physiology changes, your heart rate shifts, your breathing pattern alters, and your body heat fluctuates in ways that are entirely obvious to a creature evolved to detect the faintest heartbeat of a mouse under the floorboards. Your cat, sitting statuesque on the rug, is taking all of this in, analyzing your biometric data like a highly sophisticated biological supercomputer. We are going to explore exactly how they use this specific emotional data to subtly manipulate your behavior later in this video, a fact that might actually make you rethink who is really training whom in your household. But for now, take a second to think back to the last time your cat caught you completely off guard with one of these intense staring sessions. Did it happen late at night, or perhaps right after you had a particularly stressful day? I would love to hear your specific experience down in the comments, because every cat stare has a unique trigger, and your personal stories often reveal the most fascinating patterns about their behavior. As you sit there, locked in this silent, eerie standoff, you might notice a subtle shift in their posture. Perhaps their tail gives a faint rhythmic twitch, or their ears pivot almost imperceptibly forward. This is the precise moment their passive observation transitions into active interpretation. They are currently deciding whether the giant, furless roommate sitting across from them is an unpredictable threat, a source of imminent comfort, or simply a fascinating puzzle piece in their territorial maps. The pure intensity of their gaze is deeply rooted in their dual nature as both apex predators and vulnerable prey. In the wild, breaking eye contact at the wrong moment or misreading a visual cue can be a fatal mistake. So when your cat locks eyes with you, they are extending a profound instinctual bridge born from thousands of years of survival. They are calculating your intentions, and depending on what they read in your microscopic cues, they are about to make a decision that dictates their next move. Unlocking these deep-rooted survival instincts is exactly what we love doing here, so if you find yourself captivated by the secret, complex lives of our feline companions, consider hitting that subscribe button so we can continue unraveling these mysteries together. Yet, understanding the complex biology and survival instincts behind the stare is only half the equation. The true mystery unravels when we look at the specific dynamics of the standoff itself. Because the truth is, your cat isn't just staring at you to gather information. They are often waiting for you to perform a highly specific ancient psychological ritual. And if you fail to respond to their unblinking gaze correctly, you might be unintentionally sending them a glaring message of hostility, potentially damaging the delicate bond you have worked so hard to build. What they are secretly asking you to do in these quiet moments of profound silence is something so remarkably simple, yet completely contrary to human nature, and how you react in the next 5 seconds will change everything. When the clock starts ticking on those crucial 5 seconds, human instinct usually betrays us. As primates, our default reaction to an unbroken, unblinking stare is deeply ingrained in our own evolutionary hardwiring. We instinctively perceive a fixed gaze as either a challenge to our authority or a direct threat, prompting us to do one of two things. We either widen our eyes and stare aggressively back to assert dominance, or we nervously avert our gaze to signal submission. But here in the quiet comfort of your home, locked in a silent standoff with your cat, applying primate psychology to a feline dynamic is the ultimate betrayal of their trust. The moment you rigidly hold their gaze without breaking, your cat's highly attuned nervous system registers a sudden spike in tension. Without realizing it, you are accidentally mimicking the exact posturing of a larger predator preparing to strike, turning a quiet moment of curiosity into a silent declaration of war. To truly grasp the gravity of this standoff, you have to step outside of your human mind and consider what is actually happening in your cat's brain while you are freezing up, unsure of what to do. Your feline friend is sitting there, utterly still, deliberately suppressing their own primordial fight-or-flight reflexes just to communicate with you. It is a profound act of vulnerability for a creature that is, by design, an apex predator perpetually on guard. They have effectively lowered their defenses, stepping onto an invisible bridge between their wild, untamed ancestry and their modern life with you, patiently waiting to see if you will meet them halfway. I would actually love to hear down in the comments how many times you think you might have accidentally turned this beautiful, fragile moment into a tense staring contest, because almost all of us have done it before we knew any better. It is a completely natural mistake, but recognizing it is the key to unlocking a level of trust with your cat that most owners never get to experience. This brings us to the very edge of the ancient psychological ritual they are waiting for you to initiate. Out in the wild, when two cats cross paths, a direct stare is a dangerous prelude to conflict, a physical escalation that could easily lead to severe injury or worse. To avoid this unnecessary bloodshed, felines developed a remarkably subtle, almost invisible de-escalation tactic. It acts as a secret handshake of the animal kingdom, a deeply ingrained biological mechanism designed to instantly signal peaceful intentions. Your cat is looking at you intensely and without wavering because they are actively searching your face for this exact ancient signal. They aren't trying to intimidate you, they are desperately asking you to confirm that they are safe in your presence. If you find yourself endlessly fascinated by these hidden psychological layers of feline communication, you are exactly where you belong, and I highly encourage you to subscribe so we can keep decoding these incredible behaviors together. So, the seconds are slipping by. The silence in the room feels heavier now. Your cat's eyes remain locked onto yours like glowing marbles. Their posture completely still, their breathing shallow and measured. They are waiting for a gesture that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are not a threat, but a true protector and family member. It is a gesture that goes entirely against your own survival instincts to keep your eyes wide open when being watched by an animal. To speak their ancient language, you have to do something that feels incredibly counterintuitive, something that requires you to momentarily surrender your own visual control of the room. The secret they are waiting for lies not in the tone of your voice, nor in the movement of your hands, but in the tiny, delicate muscles surrounding your eyes, and executing this precise movement correctly in the next moment is the absolute ultimate test of interspecies trust. To pass this ultimate test, you must consciously command your eyelids to drop, not a quick, nervous flutter, but a slow, deliberate lowering, as if the air in the room has suddenly become heavy with sleep. You hold your eyes closed for just a fraction of a second longer than you normally would, an intentional surrender of your sight. In the wild, closing your eyes in the presence of a predator or an unknown variable is a terrifying vulnerability, a potential death sentence. But here, in the quiet intimacy of your own home, it is the most profound olive branch you can possibly extend across the species divide. You open your eyes just as slowly, letting the light back in, and you wait. The tension hangs in the space between you, fragile as spun glass, as you wonder if your message was translated correctly. And then, the magic happens. The intense, unblinking marbles that have been boring into your soul begin to visibly soften. The rigid, statuesque tension in their shoulders melts away into a relaxed slope, and those magnificent glowing eyes mirror your exact movement. Your cat slowly lowers their eyelids, returning the gesture with what behavioral experts endearingly call a cat kiss. In this fleeting, utterly silent exchange, the ancient invisible wall separating human and feline crumbles to dust. They aren't just looking at you anymore, they are truly seeing you. Through this slow blink, they are telling you that in a world full of unpredictable dangers and hardwired ancestral fears, you are their completely safe harbor. It is an emotional realization that entirely shifts the foundation of how you view every interaction with your furry companion from this day forward. Think about the sheer staggering weight of that trust. A creature whose ancestors survived thousands of years by being perpetually hyper-vigilant has chosen you, out of everything in their environment, to be the reason they let their guard down. It is a quiet, monumental honor that we so often overlook in the chaotic hustle of our daily human lives. When we actually take the time to pause and decode these subtle, silent conversations, we unlock a depth of companionship that spoken words simply cannot capture. If this kind of magical, unspoken connection resonates with your own experiences, and you want to continue uncovering the deeply hidden emotional lives of the animals we so dearly love, consider becoming a permanent part of our community by subscribing. We are on a continuous journey to understand the profound depths of feline love, and having kindred spirits with us makes the exploration all the more meaningful, because the beautiful truth is that the next time your cat stops dead in their tracks to stare at you from across the hallway out of nowhere, you will no longer feel a chill of confusion or playfully wonder if they are plotting your demise. Instead, you will immediately recognize the incredible vulnerability wrapped up in that steady, unyielding gaze. You will see it for exactly what it is, an invitation to connect, a silent question reaching out across the room asking, "Are we still safe? Are we still family?" And now you will know exactly how to answer them. Every intentional slow blink you offer back is a promise kept, a whispered reassurance echoing across millennia of evolution, landing directly into their tiny beating heart. I would absolutely love to hear about the moments you've shared this silent language with your own feline friend, so please leave your story down below for us to read. As you go about your evening and happen to catch those familiar glowing eyes seeking yours out from the shadows, remember the secret you now share. To the rest of the world, they are just a cat, and you are just a person. But in that silent stare, to them, you are their protector, their peace, and their absolute entire world.